比赛即将开始。首先，有请本场比赛的裁判员谢艺昕登场。Welcome， 谢艺昕。
Hello everyone, these are live pictures from Tianjin in China. It's the second semi-final of Snooker's International Championship. Ronnie O'Sullivan against Zhang and Tom Ford awaits in the final. Tom Ford came through 9-6 yesterday against Jordan Brown. Terrific performance. Zhang is having his best ever season. He was runner-up in the English Open a few weeks ago to Judd Trump. And in the quarterfinals he beat Ding Junhui. And of course, at the English Open, he beat Ronnie O'Sullivan. But this is a much longer match, best of 17, full house. And okay, Zhang is on home soil, but we're about to hear the ovation for this man, the 7 times world champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan. So the day off, it was a battling win over Ali Carter, 6-4 in the quarterfinals. Not that aesthetically pleasing, but he got the job done. And now down to one table, a 2-session match. He is a heavy favourite, I guess, not only to win this match, but also the final. But we'll see, because the way snooker's at the moment, you really can't predict anything. Ronnie O'Sullivan appearing in his first ranking tournament semi-final since he won his 7th World Championship in May 2022, so it's been for him a long time. Zhang, of course, was in his only previous semi-final just a few weeks ago at the English Open. He won that match, lost the final to Judd Trump. Best of 17, 8 frames in the first session. Zhang it is to get us underway. He really come on this season. He's already earned more prize money than the whole of last season, made 10 more centuries, and, well, won the last meeting with O'Sullivan back in Brentwood. So this is a really interesting match, with Tom Ford no doubt keeping an eye on it ahead of the final tomorrow. Alan McManus alongside me, and yeah, interesting to see if Zhang can spring another upset here.
Very much so, David. Good morning to everyone. Looking forward to this. 8 frames. It was interesting there, Ronnie, when he came out and he was putting his cue case under the table. He's, as we know, he's nursing a tennis elbow condition that he has, and he looked a wee bit ginger with it, so we'll keep an eye on that, as you will, in the early running. But yeah, Zhang, you could argue, I don't know if he's the favourite today, but he's certainly playing like it. Playing beautifully so far this season.
I guess for him, he's got to do it over the distance. This is best of 17. When he beat O'Sullivan, it was best of 7. Obviously, it's been best of 11 thus far in the tournament. Kind of feels like a stage set for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now we're down to one table. The prize money's gone up. It's full. All the elements that you associate with him. But as Alan says, you know, he's had this issue with the tennis elbow, and at times this week he has been beatable, certainly. It's just no one's done it yet. Just to say, it's in Europe very early. In the UK, it's just after 6 AM. Central Europe, just after 7 AM. So if you have got up for this match, do let us know. We'd love to acknowledge the fact that you're big snooker fans and looking forward to this one. You can contact me at Dave Hendon on Twitter, /X, at Dave Hendon, and let us know. Maybe you've not been to bed. Who are we to say?
There's a great pot to get things underway, and they're flicking the black to match. Yeah, they call him the Mighty Mouse, but there's nothing timid about the way that he plays. He goes through the cue ball lovely, doesn't he, Zhang? Just to give you all an idea of the scoring, they both had 6 centuries in this event. I know that Zhang played a qualifying match quite a while ago now to get here against Alex Ursenbacher, but in terms of scoring, both had 6 centuries. Ronnie's had 12 breaks over 60, but Zhang has had 16 breaks over 60. Talking about winning frames in one hit. By those numbers alone, Zhang An is playing better. I know this is a different day, different match, different stage, all that stuff, but it gives you an idea of what Ronnie's up against.
Yeah, and he has a very sort of metronomic approach, doesn't he? You know, he plays at his pace, never sort of deviates from it, doesn't give much away in himself either. So tough to play, certainly, and getting tougher all the time.
17.
If he were to win this match, he would rise from 32nd in the provisional rankings to 22nd, and if he won the tournament, he'd be in the top 16. So there's big prizes for him this weekend.
$24. $25.
Yeah, just talking about his form. Of course, he's taken a few big scalps in this Ding Junhui in the last round, but Mark Williams earlier on in the tournament in the round of 64. Mark Williams, well, he tweeted, didn't he? Or responded, or whatever it is it's called these days, but he said, you can't play any better than that, the way Zhang Anda won the match and put the great man Mark Williams away. Evidence here in the opening stages of this match that what Mark was suggesting, not far off the mark, but he really does look like in the form of his life, there's Zhang.
Yes, and although it's best of 17, it's a long match. First frames can be important because you're looking to show your opponent how good you're feeling. This feels like a final. It's an environment that would favour O'Sullivan on the stats. Zhang wants to show him, no, I'm up for this. I'm going to play well. You're going to have to play well if you're going to win. He wasn't given much chance against Trump, was he, in the English Open final in general, but he was 7-3 up before Trump turned it round. Well, it's okay, he's on one. They haven't exactly sort of split
46.
nicely, but he can keep going here.
$47.
Yeah, he knows he'll have to disturb them again at some point to win the frame here, but this is a very confident start from Zhang.
$51.
Yes, and another good thing about the way he plays, he won't be rushed, but he plays at a nice tempo, actually. I was having a look back at his season. Some of the names he's beaten: Ronnie, Ding, Mark Williams, McGill, Yu Long, Sing Kam. Not bad, is it? Not halfway through the season yet.
$57.
So, what's he got in store here? Plain ball for the high black is on. as a natural. If he plays on the blue, he's got to play it perfectly because of that pink not being tight to the bunch of reds. I think black is the play because he can play for black and pink at the same time. Let's see. It looks like he's going deep, so perhaps blue, but got to play it well.
58.
Yeah, not brilliant. Just because of that separation, you know, so he's got to get the pink right on the nose if he plays blue.
Yeah, just left himself a bit high on that blue. So the job's not done yet. Looks like O'Sullivan will be returning to the table, you would think. Yeah, very tough that. Wasn't sure he would take it on, he did. Not left it at least.
Yeah, Ronnie's got his wish here, forcing Zhang to open the pack. Now then. Well, he's gotten away with it big time. It was one of those, wasn't it? But for cover, you think, who's favourite to win the frame? I know it's still quite a difficult pot it would have been, but he would have fancied O'Sullivan, I think, to maybe not make the total clearance, but certainly wasn't beyond him. We know that now. Zhang Anda, can he find another good long pot like early on? Bit of pressure on it.
Yeah, if he gets it, he surely won the frame. If he doesn't, he might have given it away.
Perfect. Perfect cue, and he's actually delivering thunderbolts from baulk, isn't he? I mean, knew he was leaving plenty. Cock a hoop full of confidence. Yeah, don't let the concentration slip. Still not over the line yet.
Well, a very impressive start for 63 to get the lead. That terrific long red should have initiated this visit to just rubber stamp it. He's a player who I think has always been well regarded, but he's sort of very erratic. He's not been cited at various times, gone AWOL during seasons and just been losing early. But he's just got it all together this season.
11.
Bearing in mind, the last season ended with a 10-9 defeat on the final black in the final round of qualifying for the World Championship to Noppen Senkom. About as miserable as it gets, really. One ball away from the crucible. But he's obviously in the summer pressed on and not dwelt on that.
I think. Haunted.
I think part of the strength of Zhang Anda's game, and this is a compliment, is that he plays snooker in a simple way.
28.
No fancy action, no fancy hip sway round the table, nothing like that. Just gets about his business, does everything well. Plays at a nice pace. Let's say nothing fancy, but incredibly effective.
36.
I like this as well. I'm going to pot all the balls. The frame's won, but we're going to wait for frame 2. I'm going to pot them all.
$48. 52.
Yeah, no, Ronnie's a daunting prospect for a lot of players to play against on a big occasion, but Zhang Anda at the moment looks like he's playing against the invisible man. Just playing his own weight and playing fantastic stuff.
63.
Yeah, brilliant first frame. 63 was the initial break. And that was a 70 clearance. A very emphatic way for Zhang Anda to begin this semi-final. 1st to 9, remember, it's a long match, but great start for the Chinese hopeful to lead Ronnie O'Sullivan 1-0. Well, it's a packed house. It's a great arena, this, the Tianjin People's Stadium, and they're in for a treat whatever happens today. Obviously, a lot of Ronnie O'Sullivan fans would like to see him win, but I'm sure Zhang Anda as well on home soil will have plenty of support, and they'll have liked what they've seen so far. These are the stats between them coming in. 3 wins to 1 over O'Sullivan. But, of course, what's significant about the one for Zhang Anda, it was the last one this season at the English Open in Brentwood. Up to 37 in the world, that's his highest ranking. Provisionally 32, as I said earlier, if he wins 22, with a chance to get in the top 16 if he wins the tournament. And you can see, I mean, O'Sullivan obviously is known for centuries, but he's only made 3 more, actually, than Zhang Anda this season, although Zhang has played a few more events. Of course, looking to win his first ranking title. Ronnie O'Sullivan, it would be his 40th. That would be another landmark for him if he could come through, obviously not only this match, but Tom Ford tomorrow as well.
Yeah, those century numbers for Zhang Anda, it's his best tally ever. His previous best was 18 in the season, and we're not halfway through this one yet, and he's on 19. with lots more tournaments to come. Be in the Grand Prix, all that sort of stuff. So he's been a busy snooker player, going to get busier. That's what happens, the more successful you become.
Second frame.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan
1-0, starting from 2-8.
really was a bit of a spectator in that last frame. There was one moment where Zhang just mishit a safety, caught the knuckle of the middle pocket, could have left a red on, didn't. Anyway, dropped in a long red, made 70 to follow the initial 63. I asked if people were watching. My word, they are. A lot of messages. People got up early for this. Got Scott Forster's watching. We've got a viewer in Alan's native Glasgow here, been enjoying the early morning coverage all week. Dave Williams up at 6 for the semi-final. Also looking forward to the champions next week in my hometown of Bolton. Be attending on Tuesday and the final. Hope you enjoy that, Dave. Paul Thompson is watching in Dubai, settling down with a coffee. Christian Evans said, I only usually get one line a week, which is Saturday, but due to my snooker obsession, I've got up to watch this. Arnis from Latvia, he's a Ronnie O'Sullivan fan. Michelle, watching from under the duvet. Tony in Cornwall. Stuart, Darren, lots of people. If I haven't mentioned you, I apologise, but it's great that you're all tuning in. And thanks for your company. Just to say, we're not under the duvet here, just if anyone was wondering.
Yeah, the only thing Ronnie's under at the moment is a wee bit of pressure early in this match, isn't it? Still, of course, very early stages, but it's the first shot he's had a look at. Yeah, quite got his arm through the cue ball yet. I say early stages, but you don't want to give Zhang Anda any more encouragement because he's playing well enough as it is. Yeah, good morning from me as well to all you early birds. Good to have you up and watching the snooks with myself and Dave.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of people associate snooker with late nights, but we forget people who have, ordinary jobs obviously get up early. So sometimes even the weekend. Now he needs cover here. Not great early signs, you've got to say, for O'Sullivan.
Yeah, I must confess, I'm a wee bit concerned about his that right elbow. I was just watching after he played the shot that he's kind of walking around the table like that, not moving it. So it's clearly giving him pain, even just walking around. Keep an eye on it.
Well, one thing for sure, if it is an issue today, then the fact that he's now best at 17 doesn't help, because he's out there all day. Obviously, there will be a break between sessions, but we'll see. It's clearly going to be a concern if it is causing him pain.
Yeah, I think the one good news, I remember speaking to Ronnie fairly recently, and I was asking him about it, and he said playing the actual shot isn't too bad, strangely. It's what we all get an injury, a sore arm or whatever, and it depends what you're doing that makes it obviously painful. I think actually playing the shot, not terrible, unless he's playing with extreme power, so yeah, not easy to deal with an injury, but beware the injured player, I suppose. Oh, Zhang, wow. You'd like that one back. Here's a gift. Yeah, not Christmas yet, but it's the first present this year for Ronnie.
Yeah, it's what he needed, really, an easy starter. So let's see if he can get going here. Again, I think this week he's played well in bursts here and there. He's had to battle at other times, and he has done. The match with Carter was pretty low in quality, you've got to say. but he just sort of grafted his way through it.
9.
Appearing in his 89th ranking event semi-final, looking for his 62nd final appearance.
$14. 15.
Yeah, let's see here whether he is able to play with extreme power. He could go one cushioning into them, but because of the wee bit of pain he's feeling, I'm sorry if I keep mentioning it. I don't like, you know, a hint of excuse making, anything like that, but we're dealing with facts here. He does have a problem with it, so we've got to address it. Oh, that was a huge kick. Cue ball jumped in the air.
20.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that
21.
shot of the match so far. On the Ronnie side.
Well, it's not worked out, I don't think. Felt they were going to split quite nicely.
26.
Yeah, the plant's close. Offset. Let's see then. Yeah, well done. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say fortunate because it was a good plough into the
27.
pack of reds, wasn't it? Disappointed if you wouldn't be on one, considering the shot he played on the blue.
Well, Zhang his last shot has got to be a contender for one of the worst of the week, to leave that easy red on.
30.
And despite a few travails from O'Sullivan, it looks like it may be very costly. Just what he didn't want to do. He'd already
31.
basically nailed him to his seat in frame one. Didn't want to just open the door and allow him to start playing, but that's what's happened.
$36.
Yeah, just overcooked the cue ball.
Yeah, of course, this table has been recovered since he last played on it.
$37.
Certainly was livelier yesterday than for quarterfinals day.
He doesn't have a lot of room to play with here as far as getting on the red. Yeah. Tough shot that. He actually
42.
potted it thin, which meant the cue ball came further south. It's the end of break. Unless he's playing the cut. I don't know. It just looks a wee bit thin. I think he's really struggling with that elbow. I really do. I mean, Ronnie won't make excuses for it, but I will. Because it is an issue. And I think quite a big one.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. 42.
So Zhang not punished as he thought he might be by the shot he played. Just to say, we had some more messages. Sashin is watching in Toronto, actually. It's 1:30 in the morning there, so he's actually staying up rather than going to bed and getting up early. Richard in South Wales also enjoying it. Oh, terrific. Not quite the kind kiss that you might have liked there. But a good sign if you're knocking these. I thought his long game actually was good against Carter.
Five. Six.
He's made the last three shots look very easy. They weren't. Red, brown, red. And then he misses. You could argue that was the easiest of the four. But he's missed it.
Only of Sullivan. Six. One. Seven.
It's going to be key, not this red obviously, but the next red following the pink. He's got to get nicely on it. The table looks
Eight.
not all that inviting at the moment, but once he gets rid of that red, this next one, things will start to look a wee bit rosier. But as I say, it just depends how close he got to it, and that's not brilliant. The pot's missable.
14.
And it's not that easy to get absolutely plumb on the pink. Yeah, just a lack of care and attention to detail there that he shouldn't be hampered by the pink. The larger pocket size, it seems to be this week, does help this shot, but no sitter. Yeah, his cue ball was poor. Wasn't that shot? Was the previous one. Not bad. He got a piece of the top jaw of the middle pocket. Just released the cue ball
15.
a fraction. And the good news is, a cannon on the left-hand red has got a few options in terms of a good outcome.
19. $20.
Well, that could have been potentially the winning shot had he got on the black there, but he didn't.
Ball.
Yeah, trying to maybe lay in behind blue, but he's got to keep that brown off the side cushion. Yeah, percentage-wise, it's not the shot that. Just never the shot, never in a million.
No, it's the sort of shot O'Sullivan might have played, 28 in front. Hang on. Well, that helps.
That's the snooker gods, isn't it? You play a kind of iffy shot selection and you kind of get punished for it. So it seems like. It's not the case, but it feels that way.
Well, one thing we know about the snooker gods, they're always up early. And they don't go to bed either.
Yeah, true. Very true. Yeah, it was a strange shot, wasn't it, the brown? Pushing it safe-ish and leaving the blue sort of awkward. Strange choice. Free ball.
Ball and miss.
What other damage?
16, 31. 4. Free ball.
Well, they'll have to hit it this time as the balls are replaced. 33 in it with 35 on. Xie Yixin, the referee here. Must hit it, but of course O'Sullivan just needs the red, so he's in big trouble here. Oh, just grazed it, wow. I'm not in behind the blue, surely. Wow. You can't get your breath.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. How does he hit this? Dear, oh dear. Just below the middle pocket then with the cue ball. Got to run. Got to run. Well, it's going to be a free ball.
Miss.
But,
4.
does he take it or does he push red up table? The only thing with putting Ronnie back, he'll probably hit it within the next couple. And is he going to leave the red? Probably not. So he might push the red up table.
Miss. 4.
Free ball again.
Free ball.
I actually think, I've been watching Ronnie this frame, I think the fact that he uses the old traditional chalk, he's getting square bounces off the cushion. I really do. I've been, a lot of shots he's played, I mean, that was a case in point there. It came really square. Zhang under not so much. Just to give context to that, I think it's been a theme the last few years, isn't it? This different chalk that players are using. You're less likely to get a square bounce with it, or a firm bounce, an uneven bounce. Anyway, free ball, green nominated.
One. Four. Five.
Well, it was he who pushed that brown to where it is earlier. And it's not a help here. But the frame, having said that, could have been over a while ago.
Yeah, I just didn't get into the cue ball there. This is finished awkwardly. He certainly can't reach this.
11.
He should have a nice angle on green to promote the brown. Certainly does.
13.
You'd expect a cannon of some sort. How good's it going to be? Pretty good. It's a natural, isn't
16.
it? Brown to corner. Guaranteed on the blue. Big moment in this match now coming up. Two huge shots. What an opportunity and what a blow this would be.
Zhang 16.
Well, I suppose the good news is he didn't leave the brown on and he's developed the blue. Maybe in trouble, but it's turned into a very tense frame. No, he's not got the snooker. There's a chance there to drop in behind it.
Yeah, that was poor. That was poor. It looks like the pot is on here. Right, slightly awkward bridging. But the pot, I would say, is well, maybe 60-40 in Ronnie's favour. Yeah, and it goes. And that's absolutely fine. So,
4.
barring disasters, he's going to get the frame one eventually.
Oh yeah, it's been real hard work. And could have lost it for sure. After the free ball was left.
9.
But he has had this attitude all week. We saw it actually in Wuhan as well, albeit he didn't win that tournament. Saw it in Shanghai, did win that one.
15.
Just prepared to graft and not get too annoyed if it's not a sort of flowing match of the sort he likes.
22.
It was in the balance right to the end, but Ronnie O'Sullivan
I'm afraid.
was left a chance at the brown. He knocked it in, and he's levelled with Zhang here in Tianjin, 1 frame each. So this is how the players have come through in the latter rounds. Of course, it's been a very busy tournament. And Ronnie O'Sullivan beating Ali Carter 6-4, Ding beating Zhang 6-3. Tom Ford yesterday, I mean, he must have got up this morning feeling really good about things. 23 years after turning pro, he's joined the top 16 regardless of whether he wins tomorrow. So he's in the final, looking forward to the occasion. And he said himself, actually, you know, if he plays Zhang, he knows he's up against, you know, the home favourite. If he plays Ronnie, he's up against basically the favourite everywhere. So he's going to enjoy the experience. But the way he finished off against Jordan Brown from 6-5 down, 3 centuries in a row, he's got to be very confident. And I did say, actually, he can be too self-deprecating at times. He wasn't afterwards. He was very happy about the way he played, quite rightly.
Yeah, he'll be having a nice day, Tom Ford, won't he? We'll watch these two battle it out to join him tomorrow. Of course, he still doesn't know whether he's going to be playing on Wednesday in Bolton. I know that's that's not the most pressing of issues at the moment for Tom, but we'll find that out tomorrow. Or indeed it could be Zhang Anda going to Bolton.
It's been a very interesting start. I'm sure you'll agree if you got up early to watch this. It's been fascinating stuff. Zhang dominated the first frame, breaks of 63 and 70. Could have won the second. He got a free ball, albeit in rather strange circumstances, but couldn't press on. He missed a brown. He later left the brown from distance. O'Sullivan has levelled at 1 each. 8 frames in this session. First to 9 tonight to play Tom Ford in the final of the International Championship. Another good long one from O'Sullivan, but didn't get fortunate with the position. Could have on another day's on that black and he's away. Good sign though that these are going in.
Yellow ball. Only a solid one. 1.
Yeah, one man will be keeping an eye on all this is Ding Junhui. Zhang Anda's knocked him out of the tournament. If he wins the tournament, he'll take his champion to champions place, and he'll also knock him out the top 16. So Ding will have to qualify for the UK Championship. So he's a triple threat here.
Yeah, I suppose you're always under threat as a snooker player, aren't you? Like, you think back Ding in the final of the UK Championship almost a year ago, 6-1 in front. Mark Allen storming back to deny him. And like you say, you end up not even playing in the venue if he has to go to qualifying. Ding. He's always got to be on it as a snooker player. Now, this is a type of test that we always pay attention to with the top, certainly the top players. Get an insight into how they're hitting it.
Well, sort of loud groan. Sometimes, you know, you sort of give players like O'Sullivan every pot, but the game's not that straightforward. I think, yeah, just going back to what you were saying, I think it's harder than ever because there's now so many lists and races to keep on top of and events you can get in and cut-offs and, you know, it's a bit of a head scrambler when the game itself is hard enough without worrying about, I've got to win this one to get in this tournament. So it's good. It means there's a lot of events and a lot to play for. I suppose if you're winning tournaments, you're going to be in all the other tournaments. That's the way to look at it. That's what Judd Trump's been doing.
Yeah, of course. And you look at Neil Robertson, you know, a couple of years ago, winning plenty. Going to the Crucible as a red-hot favourite, all that sort of stuff. And then a couple of years down the line, struggling to win matches, to be honest. Of course, the other thing is, the older you get, not saying any of those guys are old, nothing like that. Is the older you get, the quicker the seasons pass by. You know, can't be 4 years ago, can it, since Ding won the UK Championship, but it is. Yeah, when Ding won that UK Championship, you thought, here's a new dawn on the way, because he hadn't won for a while. And the titles since then have dried up again. Yes, I know he got the World 6 red, but you get the point. You know, it's not exactly it's not a big time traditional snooker event. That's what I'm meaning.
I think it's very true. You know, you think you've seen something that will, you know, take the narrative one way and it goes another. You look at when Judd Trump won the World Championship, the way he won it, you'd think by now he probably would have won it again. Whereas Ronnie O'Sullivan at that point really struggled at the Crucible. He kept on, you know, going out relatively early. He hadn't won it since 2013. Since then, he's won it twice. Of course, he beat Trump in the last final. So things can change. I think all terrific players, all capable of great stuff, but also sometimes the realities of how hard it is hits home. And a player like Neil Robertson, for example, lost a bit of confidence, clearly.
No, there's a bonus, a little fluke, because the red flicked another. And he's nicely on the black. Oh, that was sweet, wasn't it? Sweetly struck. Yeah, just the final thing on that, you know, time waits for no person, all that sort of stuff, and it's true, isn't it? One of Judd Trump's opponents in this tournament, young 12-year-old Wang Jinzhong. He wasn't even born when Neil Robertson won the World Championship. That's how quickly the years go.
Yeah, I saw the start of that match. He potted a couple of nice balls and then he missed one. Judd Trump stepped in, made a century. It was very much like, yeah, this will be an education for you, young lad.
Yeah, like a demo. All been there.
17.
You think, oh, this is going to be good fun. This is all exciting. This is all brilliant. This is what I've been waiting for. No, it's not, young man. You got to wait your turn. Zhang then going along nicely. One thing he is doing better than Ronnie, certainly, and by a distance in this match so far, he's striking the ball far better of the two. Nice and crisp. There's plenty of revs on the cue ball.
25.
You don't see that very often. Well, Sullivan's in town, but I think it is the case right now. Zhang looks the more likely to score. His journey through this tournament, he's now had 6 more frame-winning breaks than O'Sullivan has.
Oh,
this is perfect, isn't it? Able to just push 1 or 2 reds into the open when playing this. This is where a fast, new, slidey cloth really helps. Just
38.
just encourage a couple of reds to just release themselves from the pack here. Yeah, I'll be disappointed. I was thinking more stun for pink to left middle. Gonna need the revs on this. Yeah, nicely played. But the red to left middle looks like is all he's got here.
45.
Yeah, I mean, often after that sort of shot, you look at the player to see their reaction, but he never gives any, does he? So you're never quite sure quite how it's lying for him.
Got to get it, leaving plenty.
Yeah,
46.
good sign that. Knocking in what could be the key ball of the frame. I guess the fluke to get in as well was pretty significant. So now it's up to him to continue, try and put this away.
$52. 53.
Been on and off the tour a few times. Relegated as recently as 2020. Got back on the following year. So this is quite an extraordinary run he's on for someone who, you know, could maybe have drifted away from snooker.
60. 61.
So we'll need black and red to lead 2-1.
Yeah, doesn't look like missing. I was thinking the other day, actually, Dave, just when you mentioned that, players that are no longer around, I was thinking guys like Lu Hong Hao. Have we seen the last of him? He was a super talent. I know he got a lesson at the Crucible from Sean Murphy, and well, that means that Ronnie will come back to the table with
68.
Well, a chance. 67 the diff. 67 on. Yeah, great starter. And this is a better chance in Ronnie's hands than most players, being able to play left-handed, of course. This is a real chance to force the respot. Apart from easy, obviously.
8.
But
9.
I just wonder, I've been on record as saying a few times quite recently that I don't know if Ronnie has the magic in his hands that he used to have as often. It's still there. Can he produce it here?
16.
Well, he said exactly that, actually, after beating Carter
70.
himself, so he agrees. But we'll see. It's the sort of moment where, even though it's early in the match, he could completely turn things around in his favour because Zhang was just going along so serenely, so it seemed. They just didn't put away the frame.
.24. .25.
Okay, he's going to call on power now. And this is where that left-handed sort of prowess might come to his aid. Oh, played that absolutely perfectly. Can he get any angle at all? Straight
32.
is awkward. Yeah, it was awkward.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 32.
That's what I was saying, that just the very odd time, and it's because what we've witnessed in the past with him, we're so used to seeing him make the clearance from those positions, but I just think he's not as secure as he used to be in terms of producing magic when he absolutely needs it. It used to happen as a matter of course. It's not quite as common these days. Might play a snooker in behind yellow-blue. It's a huge target, half ball. You know, just push the red to the right end of the balk line, something like that. That's the shot I'd be playing. It's almost difficult not to get a snooker. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
that you would think would be end of frame. He needs a snooker. He's left the red to middle. Zhang can forget about the red he missed to the opposite middle as long as he knocks this in. He made a good solid 68 to get the lead in the frame. O'Sullivan had the chance to counter-attack, but the red goes in, so Zhang's going to be back in front here.
1.
So, well, 43 in it, 27 on. He's coming back. Maybe just to pos a few here, get his arm going, because it's been a bit stop-start from his perspective. No breaks yet.
Five. 9. 14. on your side, 14.
But it's his frame. Of course, a little while ago, he has now killed it off. So Zhang, for the second time, is in front in the second semi-final of the International Championship. 1 to come before the interval. He leads Ronnie O'Sullivan 2-1. Just while we wait for the next frame to start, Stuart Hammond he's actually got a question for you, Alan. He's from Chile Grantham. Why is an in-off called an in-off? He said, I played for 30 years, I still don't know.
Yeah, maybe a good question, actually. It probably should, because you can go directly in off, so you're not going in off anything. Yeah. But apart from that, I don't know.
No, well, it's so many of these have been sort of handed down, haven't they? Some from billiards, of course, where the in-off is an important part of scoring in that game. So yeah. I guess it's just come from billiards, really.
Yeah. I should know. I done it all the time. But anyway.
Crowd is taking their seats here. It's a big hall, the Tianjin People's Stadium, and it's a packed house. And they don't want to miss a minute of the action, so they're just going to wait while everyone settles down for a frame 4. Ronnie O'Sullivan 2-1 down to Zhang under. This will last before the interval. O'Sullivan yet to get any great fluency. He played on there at the end, just potting a few balls, but
Ronnie O'Sullivan to play.
the breaks have come from his opponent. 3 half centuries from Zhang so far. He's getting bits of running, Zhang. I mean, that red has come to obscure the one that could have been on. There is a red possible to left corner, though.
One. Four. Five.
Yeah, things just not going his way. At the minute, it's all hard work every time he gets a sort of chance. Gotta get deep on this cue ball. Pink going on the black spot will help. Yeah, good shot. That's better. All right, Pink's going to be covered. Same pocket. So, again, the hard work will continue.
Eleven. Twelve.
Yeah, lovely shot. There's a difference in O'Sullivan now. You would have gone into the pack, absolutely. No doubt about it.
18.
10, 15 years ago. So, the packet's going to be this time. Ah, that'll do nicely. Not
24.
absolutely perfect on a red, but providing he knocks it in, which he should do. It could develop into a chance to win the frame in one hit. Yo, but it was a kick, to be fair. I do think, again, he shouldn't be using the old chalk. I know that's the second time I've said it, but it is a thing. It's not a huge thing, but it doesn't help him. You see the chalk marks on the table. You know, generally players use a chalk now that doesn't produce chalk marks. So it looks tidier, and it certainly plays tidier, if you know what I mean. You don't tend to get as many kicks and big bounces. The chalk seems to, the new stuff seems to disintegrate.
One.
Yeah, good pot. That's the main thing. No problem as far as covering the red near the cue ball.
Counter. One.
I think what's interesting now is it's not really about whether O'Sullivan makes it 2-2. It's how he does it, because he's not going to want a day of sort of scrappy frames. He wants to start scoring at some point. So even if he makes it 2-2 and it's, you know, bits and pieces, and maybe won't tell us much. Zhang has had 3 half centuries so far. O'Sullivan yet to make one in this match.
Yeah, well played, Zhang, and he would have known that was a distinct possibility. Cushion first, sort of 3-ball plant. Now, what sort of look has he got at this brown? As far as his cue ball getting down table. These next 2 shots are key. Yeah, Ronnie's interested. No wonder, he knows it. Yeah, well played. Just the way the pink is, black out of commission, no problem. The way the reds are, red pinks, providing he plays one more good shot here.
5.
Gets in a good position. It's a chance to win the frame.
Six.
Well, he must sense an opportunity here in the early stages. O'Sullivan certainly not at his best yet. And this is where you've got to try and just pile the frames on if you can. just about stopped in time, that cue ball. Because he knows from the English Open final, it's never over till it's over. He was 7-3 up. He was playing really well against Judd Trump. Didn't do that much wrong. He can turn around, but you want to put yourself in the position, try and certainly get some sort of lead in this session. That's obviously the aim here.
10. $16.
Still early stages, of course, and we'll see how the session develops. But I do think if the session develops in any way similarly to that final against Judd in Brentwood, then I think it's clear that the only way Ronnie's going to get the job done in this match is if he wins it and takes it away from Zhang. He isn't going to be gifted it. This guy's playing too good for that. Ronnie is going to have to play something like his best stuff, or it ain't going to happen. These guys are too good these days. Glancing cannon, deep screw. Played nicely, very nicely. Even that shot there, a little screw shot, no problem at all. Plenty of revs on it, getting the cue ball zipping around. Certainly more than O'Sullivan at the moment.
Wow. Well, I have to say, I didn't think on its way that was going to drop.
31.
That's a big moment, I think, because it's obviously leaving it in the jaws. But last moment, it just toppled in.
Yeah, it was an unusual one, wasn't it? There's a change in the rule, actually, in that. I don't know how recent it was. We saw Andres Petrov in a recent tournament play a shot, and it sat on the lip of the pocket and dropped. I counted 3.5 seconds. And it was replaced, even although it was still his visit. His opponent hadn't come to the table yet. But just on that, just quickly, it used to be the way that if the red drops and it's still the player's visit at the table, then it stays in. It just depended when it dropped. Now it's a bit different. The red has to drop in the stroke that is being played by the player, by the striker. So there's a wee bit of a difference in that rule anyway, but that was clean. Of course, 44. It was the red dropped within the stroke, if you see what I mean. But anyway, Zhang now can't get into the important part of this contribution. Tough shot this to get nice and high on the pink. That's a fantastic shot. That really is.
45.
So, scoreboard check. Pink, red, pink for 35.
51. Zhang under.
Well, again,
51.
he's just got away with it, hasn't he? Not left anything. So the break ends at 51. 28 the lead, 43 available.
Yeah, the cut's on. I agree with you, David. He said just a wee bit of running. That was a big bit of running he had there, Zhang. Okay, it's thin. Right middle pocket might be an option for the in-off, possibly. Yeah, there you go. Now, what's he left?
Only off 31. 4.
Yeah, so Ronnie, take your pick, cue ball in hand. Can he find a sweet piece of cueing when he absolutely needs it? Because he hasn't been in this semi-final yet. Not really. Hasn't bossed any stage of it.
Superb. There was a phone going off. It didn't put him off. Zhang has been the better player, that's for sure. He's had the running, yes, but he's been the better player. But this could be a key moment, really, if O'Sullivan can just dig himself out of trouble in this frame. For as well as Zhang has played, for him not to have a lead at the interval.
Yeah, not bad, considering it was running across the face of position.
7.
So big moments on the way.
Right. Go.
Yeah, form comes and goes, all that sort of stuff, but what never ever goes away is the killer instinct and knowing that some
16.
visits to the table are more important than others. This is the most important visit of the match for O'Sullivan. As David said, hasn't really been in this. So 2-all would be a dream.
21.
Yeah, he's okay. Can maybe spin this a couple of cushions. That should do.
Well, Zhang made 51. He got in again immediately. Went in off. O'Sullivan needs the black to level up at the interval. He came to life just when it mattered. There's the cheer from the audience. O'Sullivan got up against it, not producing his best snooker yet, but he's managed to level things up. So they're all square as they go to the first interval of the second semi-final of the International Championship. It's 2-2. So it's the interval of the first session here of the second semi-final of the International Championship. Ronnie O'Sullivan, Zhang will resume 2-2 in a few minutes' time. But of course, yesterday we saw the first semi-final between Tom Ford and Jordan Brown. And they resumed at 4-4 coming into the second session. They'd had a century apiece in the first. Jordan Brown, Welsh Open champion in 2021. Tom Ford looking to win his first ranking title, reach his third final. It was quite impressive start from Brown, as you see, a total clearance. It was a bit of a mixed bag. We had a lot of big breaks, but we also had a lot of close frames, which of course psychologically can be so significant. But a good start for Brown. We've only got a bit more tactical in the second frame of the night. Just sometimes the way the balls go dictates what sort of frame it will be. Tom Ford had to keep his discipline and try and just be positive. And some of these close frames, if you lose them, obviously it's difficult to do that. Yeah, it's one of those frames where a lot was happening, but obviously that didn't help Jordan Brown's cause. And by this stage, the frame was well and truly over.
Yes, actually at this stage of the match, Tom, if anything, was not hanging on, but he had never been in front, and he was having to keep producing on the back of some good stuff by Jordan. And it sort of continued, and making the odd mistake here and there was Tom. And Jordan largely picking up the pieces. Of course, just a couple of frames to go before the mid-session interval at this stage of the match, and this was an excellent chance, wasn't it, that Tom was presented with. He ended up, became a bit of a battle on this yellow, which eventually, yeah, that was put back, then he hit it, and then this was a good pot on the yellow. Couldn't quite manage decent position, but eventually got it done and hit the front again, as was the story. He just kept that sort of one frame lead for most of the match, and again Tom Ford having to produce something, and boy did he in this frame.
Well, it seemed that something clicked at this point. He's thinking it's not quite working for me, and he just went ultra positive, took his shots on. And it was like he was in some sort of zone for 3 frames. Just really impressive spell of scoring to take a real grip on the match.
Yeah, it was one of those stages of the match, as we'll see in the next couple of frames, that you wish you could bottle the feeling. And so you could sell that feeling in the tour for a few quid, couldn't you? This was a red that Tom played. He thought long and hard about it. Unfortunately, stuck it over the pocket. But Jordan from here only made, what was it? I think it was 17. And left himself a wee bit awkward. And this one then a bit of a decel on a red, and Tom, when he got his chance, and this was now the kind of chances he was getting, reds in the open, pink no problem, black to both pockets, and you knew then what was going to happen, the form that he was in. Second century on the bounce.
Yeah, and there was more to come in the next frame.
Yeah, more good news. As David said, that was a lovely picked out shot there, and then he played a lovely positional shot off the brown. And at that stage, everything that he was doing was turning to gold. He was getting the odd little glance on positional shots, working out perfectly like that. And he went 8-6 in front, and it felt like a bigger lead than 8-6 just because the way he was playing. He looked indestructible, unbeatable.
Well, 3 centuries in a row in a major semi-final. Very, very impressive from Tom Ford. And then it was a question of could he close it out? And this was the answer in what proved to be, of course, the last frame. Jordan Brown said afterwards that he felt, you know, obviously one player improved and the other one didn't. Simple as that. Tom Ford upped his game just at the right time. And I'm sure he's enjoying his day off and looking forward to whoever he plays. A big day here on Sunday. Tomorrow, the final. Best of 19, 175,000. He's guaranteed 75 already, so it's a massive payday either way. Chance to win after 23 years on tour, a ranking title. It's only his 3rd final, so it's going to be a big occasion. It was a great win, really terrific performance. Jordan Brown said to him afterwards, go and win it now. Very sporting of him. Tom Ford, the winner, 9-6 yesterday in the first semi here in Tianjin. And that's just to rubber stamp how he got through. 9-6 into the final. And we know that it'll be a while yet before we know who's going to play. 2-2, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhang. Zhang's made the running in that match. O'Sullivan made a good clearance to steal the 4th. And after the break, we will be back with the next 4 frames. Well, we can see some highlights so far. Zhang, from the off, looked very confident. Great long red, nice cannon, and went on here. Didn't win the frame from this, but built up a nice lead. I guess, you know, a year ago maybe, had this been the match at this stage of the semi-final, you wouldn't have necessarily fancied his chances, but the fact that he's been in that English Open final, you know, in the last few weeks, we know how well he's been playing. He's got a lot of confidence, and he showed it in frame 1, 2 half centuries.
Yeah, he certainly did. And just looking back to that English Open final against Judd, I don't think in any way he gave the match away. There was nothing like that. It was just the fact that Judd turned it on near the end, the second session. So yeah, he's got that good experience. And as we see here, Ronnie winning eventually frame 2 after the odd scare here and there on the blue. Black was just a couple of practice shots on pink and black, so 1-1. Yeah, good pot, wasn't it? Off the Zhang break off, and then he had this chance and kept the break ticking along nicely with that red. Into the middle. And, well, he eventually missed with 67 in front, and Ronnie made the 4 red blacks to that stage, and you thought we're in for another one of those famous clearances to end up with a respot black, but it went astray eventually. You know, Ronnie played on, but he needed, as you can see there, 2 or 3 snookers, and it was no problem for Zhang to go back in front again. So it was a big frame on the way. This last before the break, Ronnie going into the bunch. It looked decent at that from that picture, but he got a kick on the red that followed it. Eventually Zhang picked out a nice 3-ball plant there, and for all money, at one stage looked like he was going to indeed go 3-1 in front. There he is, what, 28 in front at that stage. And that was the wee bit of running that he's kind of held. But then the first sign of the Ronnie magic, he produced the clearance.
Yeah, it was important, I think, for him just to find that little burst of inspiration. And 2-2, Zhang has made the running, but he's not in front. as we await the return of the players. So we're just waiting for Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhang to return here. 2-2 in the early stages. Remember, it's a two-session match this, so it won't conclude until later on. 1st to 9. Tom Ford beat Jordan Brown 9-6 yesterday, so he's waiting in the final as we just see a few shots so far. Well, I can tell you the players are walking back into the arena, ready for another 4 frames. Can either one of them just move in front now? Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan made a nice little clearance to win that 4th frame. Zhang has made 4 half-centuries so far. O'Sullivan yet to make one, but it's 2-2. All square, 4 more frames to come in this opening session of the 2nd semi-final of the International Championship. Been very interesting viewing, but for all the good stuff Zhang has played, he's not got a lead here as they resume. O'Sullivan this weekend looking to win his 5th ranking title on Chinese soil. He's also won quite a few big invitation events here, but of course pre-pandemic he didn't necessarily play in a lot of them, but clearly his focus has changed. We know that from the way he's been speaking, and also, for example, he went out to Yushan the week before this event to launch the World Open, which will be in March, so he's very much prioritising these big Chinese events now. Won Shanghai, got to the quarterfinals in Wuhan.
Unlike him to make that mistake and leave this possible red. Always got to have your wits about you, rolling into a pack like that. Put the kibosh on this one, but they're getting so good at this type of shot. Needless to say, now he misses it, but they're tough pots, those blind ones. Pick your spot and trust it.
Six. Seven.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Just get the cue ball there, just where his small finger is. Well, he's overplayed it, so angle on the black. For more of a glancing blow, I would suggest, on the bunch of reds.
15. Foul.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that.
On your serve, 15.
Just one of
Zhang
those
under 7.
elements of the game you just got to put up with now and again. You go into the reds, you're never certain where they're going to finish. He's played the shot beautifully, actually.
One. Eight. Nine.
Yeah, so the pink going just on its spot. So this top side of blue has to be played precisely. Well, can't get the direct cannon, obviously, but certainly can by way of side cushion. And it's quite a big target. You'd almost be looking for contact on the pink, ideally, because that would release at least a couple of reds. Sometimes you hit the meat of the bunch. It kills the cue ball stone dead. Let's see. Now, does he have a plant?
$21.
You're just never quite sure with him, are you? Because he gives nothing away, which I think is a great strength in this sport. But it's going to have to be back to bulk. So Sullivan, from his perspective at least, didn't lose the frame from knocking that red in inadvertently to the green pocket.
Zhang under 21.
Sullivan's birthday in just a few weeks will be 48. Of course, that's the age Mark Williams already at, having won the British Open this season. Well, he's not covered this.
Yeah, sort of shot he's been knocking in, although he did miss something similar earlier in this match. Quite Quite wide of the mark, actually. Same again. Now here's a half chance for Ronnie. Nothing easy, far from it. Quite fortunate there, Zhang, to have the cue ball lay near the cushion. Makes this super awkward. And also the blue being off the spot, worth noting. Yeah, so much so it wasn't able to have a pass at it.
So that's the rather uninviting view he's got from the playing end. Just looking for the thin contact.
Ball miss. Zhang Da 4.
Back we go. Obviously, always with this shot, you don't want to. You want to err on the side of caution. You don't want to get the full contact. So quite often you'll see it. He didn't miss it by much. Just see it missed, and then the slight adjustment needed. And it is only slight. Too much, and he hits it full and leaves that red to, I guess, to right corner.
Ball miss. Zhang Da 4.
Again, just fractions.
Ball miss. Zhang Da 4.
These points, you know, they may be significant. I always think that you think, okay, it might hit it next time, get the white save, but it may depend on what Zhang needs later on to win the frame, possibly.
Yeah.
But the worst thing for O'Sullivan, of course, is to leave the red on, so that's why he can swallow these points for now.
Ball miss. Zhang Da 4.
Yeah, it almost kind of illustrates how defiant players can be in this position. They will not err on the bad side, i.e. thick contact. And gets it eventually, so it was worth all that effort. Yeah, sometimes I must confess I talk about players being difficult to play against. I think that's something that you almost have to have these days, and Zhang Anda has that in abundance. He keeps you away from the table for long periods. And he's difficult to boss. Yeah, he's got a little fluke there, which helps.
1.
He's difficult to sort of dictate against because he's not the quickest, but he's neat and tidy in all departments. And he doesn't look like he's going to miss when he's in close. So all the elements that you want in terms of being difficult to play against, he has them. Yeah, so he's going to press on this brown here. He also plays smart. Obviously really fancies this. Brilliant shot. Because on another day, you look at that shot and you don't fancy it, so you don't play it. As long as you play it for the correct reasons, which Zhang Anda appears to do. And now this is a chance to get back in front again.
Six.
Yeah, it's a sort of fascinating, rise that he's suddenly had, isn't it? He's always been around and been well regarded, but never been past a quarter-final, only been in a handful of them. Suddenly, the last few weeks, something's happened. And it was impressive, actually, how he finished off against O'Sullivan in that English Open. He was 2-1 down. Ronnie only actually scored 21 points combined in the rest of the match. Only best of 7, but to beat O'Sullivan anywhere, particularly in front of a big crowd in Essex, of course, his home turf, that was a major confidence boost.
Sabonis getting the bridge through the gap there. So red, black.
22. 请将手机调到静
The
音，
job
谢谢。
in this frame will be a good one.
The referee just asking again for a bit of quiet on with the old phones.
Yeah, apologies. Just obviously needs just one more red. That's guaranteed now.
Yeah, and I did say about the foul points. I mean, they have helped, I guess. But anyway, he's got these 3 in play, so he's going to be surely 3-2 up.
30.
He has a stubborn quality. It doesn't sound like a big compliment, that, but it really is. He doesn't go away. And it was a noticeable, when he fluked the red, noticeable that he didn't close the shop. He fancied the brown. He's feeling good. He knocked it in. He's kept going. He's made another good break. Can he
37.
end the session on top? There's been
38.
a sort of feeling that O'Sullivan has kind of been hanging on so far. Won that 4th frame on the black with a good clearance. Not made any breaks to speak of. So there's a definite opportunity here for Zhang to open some sort of lead.
45.
Yeah, I think that is the
46.
narrative. I think you're right, Ronnie. Has been hanging on in some way. He hasn't been completely dominated, nothing like that. But he's had to sort of pinch frames near the death. So Zhang Anda in control.
46.
Well, again, O'Sullivan's going to pot some balls because he's not really been doing that. It's been stop-start, so... Well, he's going to try, but he's missed immediately.
Yeah, it's a good sign, but in another way it kind of isn't it? All right, you want to keep your arm going and all that, but there will be a reason for it. And it's something to do with not feeling comfortable out there for whatever reason. Yeah, it's concerning for O'Sullivan fans at the moment. You've got to be honest, he hasn't showed up yet. Bar for that long red, the stunning long red from cue ball in hand at the tail end of frame 4. And completed the clearance in fine style. Apart from that, there's not been an awful lot to be enthused about. Just thinking it might be the case that because of the elbow situation, he hasn't been able to practice perhaps yesterday, that day off that he had. So maybe that's why he's staying out there, just to try and play a few shots. Perhaps he felt yesterday, there's no point in me going in the practice room if I'm getting some pain from the elbow. We don't know, but there must be something behind it, because he's not doing this to try and knock Zhang off his stride, because he's not yet. That's not going to happen. He's got to find something himself. As O'Sullivan.
1. Five. 7. 5. 刚达 7. Only sorry 4.
Yes, again, Ronnie's not playing on to try and wind anyone up, or he's not in the business of that sort of stuff out there. He's obviously more concerned about himself, just trying to find something, perhaps in his cueing or whatever. Just experimenting. Players do that, they experiment the way they hit the ball. Cue action, all that stuff. He goes on about it himself all the time, doesn't he? But it's true. He's trying to find something out there. I suppose on the positive side, it tells you that he's up for the battle, because if he wasn't, he wouldn't want to be out there doing this.
Yeah, I think the question, though, is it ultimately going to do him any good? I mean, he's stuck the green now, so Zhang just needs to put it away. And the frame has long since been his. He's sticking to his own game, and it's worked well so far.
7.
And as I say, there's an opportunity definitely to come back tonight in front. He's been the better player, and there's another 3 frames left. So if he can win a couple of them, he'll have some sort of cushion.
$18.
Zhang back in front for the 3rd time today. He's a frame to the good against Ronnie O'Sullivan in this semi-final. It's 3-2. So 3 frames left to play in the opening session here of this second semi-final at the International Championship. 3-2 to Zhang Andrew. He's ahead for the 3rd time in this session. He made all the breaks really so far. He's had, you've got to say, he's had the running also. I think that's just a fact really, but as ever, it's what you then do with it. And of course, it's best of 17. That could change. There's plenty of time for it to. So I think you've got to feel there's a big chance to get in front at the end of the session, coming back for this evening's play. Well, he didn't get lucky there, so this is a chance for O'Sullivan. You can hear the supporters already trying to G him up here.
Yeah, I think it's right what you've been saying recently, Dave, about especially O'Sullivan. It applies to pretty much any player. You do expect him, or certainly he'll be hoping to start winning frames and clusters, you know, putting together a 2, 3, maybe even a 4-frame burst of excellence the way Tom Ford did last night. It just doesn't happen as often as perhaps it once did, but he was still well capable, don't get me wrong, but I think that's what he's looking for.
6.
To find a bit of inspiration, be able to go on a run for half an hour or so, which of course equates to probably 3 frames. And again, he's out of position at end of break, barring a swerve.
14.
Just when he looked like getting in amongst the pink and black spot for the first time almost in the match, it goes wrong early.
Yeah, I mean, his highest break against Carter was only 60. Just looking back, the previous match against McGill, he did make an 89 to go 4-2 up. But since then, he's not putting together the breaks that we obviously associate with him more than anybody.
Yes, he had 3 breaks of 60, strangely, against Carter, didn't he, Ronnie? And I suppose if you look at the theory that 60 doesn't win a frame in one hit, it does win some frames in one visit, but if you're of the opinion it doesn't, and to win a best of 11 without a frame-winning contribution, it might even be a first for O'Sullivan. Now, he's starting to get the odd chance, but he's got to start taking them. Yeah, that might offer a wind of change in this match. Perfect cannon.
Eight. Nine.
And now he pulls the trigger early going into the pack, which hasn't been his way of late. So perhaps the mindset has switched.
16. 6. 17.
Well, it's what Tom Ford did yesterday, isn't it? He suddenly just decided, right, time to change things up.
$24. 25. $32.
That is most unlike Ronnie of all people. Such a poor positional shot. And that's got to be end of break.
33.
He just, for whatever reason, can't find a way to put a big number together. Chiefly because he keeps losing his cue ball. When have you said that in the past? Very rarely. I mean, here he's not even playing the snooker. It wasn't that easy, but tight behind the black there, and Zhang Anda was in all sorts of trouble. As it is, he's left a, well, the form that Zhang's in, an 8 or 9 out of 10 long red.
So, Sullivan, for viewers who've been watching snooker long enough, he looked a certainty actually to win that frame when he got in, but not only did he lose position, he then played a poor safety to initiate this chance for Zhang, and it's a good chance. Yeah, in a funny sort of way, that red that's hampering the black spot might do him a favour inadvertently, because under normal circumstances you'd want to go up and get the black back in its spot right now, but the red by the black spot's forcing him to stay on blue-pink, which is no bad thing in terms of his cue ball. Get rid of it on this occasion. Also playing for the red to right middle at the same time. That's good play. Always options. We'll probably come round and have a look at it. Yeah, just now. So good play that.
$30.
There's all sorts of noises off and ringtones and so on going on, but you just get the feeling if the roof fell in, Zhang Anda would just carry on very stoically, because that's the way he is.
Yeah, it must be a plant on. Oh, sorry, it held the spot. Pink spot held by the red, so even better news.
17. 18.
Yeah, the only thing that the red that's nearest the pink spot, whether it goes when the pink goes back on its spot, he didn't have a look previously, so that's going to be key.
.24.
Yeah, no problem. Now the key
25.
shot. Split the two reds, land on one, and we've got a new favourite in this frame.
.31.
Well, you kind of only noticed that last minute, that plan, and maybe not quite set. So back to this one. O'Sullivan did have a very good chance. He had a couple actually, but when he got in the second time, he thought, surely this is the moment where things are going to start happening, and lost position.
Yeah, the hard work done.
38.
And if there's any such thing as an easy two red clearance from any sort of position, this is it here. I mean, any snooker player worth their salt would be horrified if they didn't clear up.
39.
So many options off this last red. But obviously the best option is play for yellow, green, brown and black, because it's almost impossible
45.
for it to go wrong.
.46.
Yeah, good thinking. Just get the black out of harm's way. So it doesn't need it. Just send it back down table. And this should be a formality for two clear.
53. .55.
Well, he's doing the scoring. This another half century, it'll be his fifth of the match.
.58. .62.
So, the blue to open a two-frame lead for the first time. And there's a serious chance now to have a big lead coming back tonight. O'Sullivan is struggling. Zhang is looking strong. Put it this way, if he ends the session not in front, I think he'll be very disappointed. So he stepped in, offered the chance, took the chance. Zhang under 4-2 with 2 frames left to play in the opening session here. So it's 4-2. Zhang leading Ronnie O'Sullivan with 2 frames to come in the session. Zhang sensing a chance to pull clear and have a good lead coming back tonight.
37 Zhang dot break.
Yeah, of course, a long, long way to go in this semi-final. I was just thinking, actually, in between frames there, a little trivia question to you all, and you can get in touch. Dave will know this, obviously, like he knows everything else. Before I ask it, you can tweet the answers at Dave Hendon or at AlanMac1990 on Twitter or X. So the reason I'm asking this question is we see Zhang make a mistake there. I think he's left. Sorry, Ronnie making the mistake. I was just thinking, if Zhang was to win today, of course there'll be 2 players in the final who have not won a ranking event. When was the last time that happened? Dave will know the answer. I do. But you can send the answers in. When was the last time 2 players contested a ranking event final and none of them had won a ranking event before?
One.
It's not a very good question, Dave, but...
No, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
For this time of the morning.
It's one clue. It wasn't all that long ago, anyway.
One.
Just on the scoring, Zhang's had 5 half centuries, 63, 70, 68, 51, 73. Sullivan's highest break, 42. And he has had scoring chances, but just no real rhythm to his game today. he won't win the match with the highest break of 42. So something's going to have to change. There's plenty of time for it too, not least in this session.
Yeah, just to add on that question, it does not involve the shootout. The shootout is not the answer. It's not my answer, put it that way. Yes, it's a ranking event, all that stuff, I understand that, but it's not a traditional snooker tournament in the truest sense of the phrase, I think.
I'd love to go to a pub quiz run by you, Alan. You'd be laying down all sorts of stipulations.
Yeah, we did, of course, didn't we? A number of weeks ago, and yeah, the whole gang went. And what was it, second or third question? What is the brown ball worth?
That's right, yeah. We got it between us.
Yeah, just.
O'Sullivan has definitely grafted here in this match. It's not like he's been getting frustrated, but he's just trying to make something happen.
Now a mistake. What damage? Certainly left a couple. So can Ronnie get something going? He needs it badly and quickly as well. Give you the answer to that teaser at the start of the next frame. Incidentally.
One.
Yeah, straight away, he's not ideal on a colour.
Eight.
The truth is, snooker is always hard work. It just sometimes the great players make it look easy, but it's not easy. So much can go wrong, and there's so many challenges you have to meet. Well, he's finished okay, actually, more than okay.
Eight.
Yeah, got away with that, but it won't have cheered him up. Because there's sort of nothing happening for O'Sullivan at the moment.
Yeah, I think O'Sullivan has been subdued on 2 counts. Certainly his own form hasn't been anything like what we expect, but also, as said earlier on, Zhang Anda is a difficult customer to play against. He doesn't go round the table with swagger and fancy cue actions and knocking in flashy shots and cue ball all singing and dancing. He's not that sort of player. So the feeling is that sort of, as an opponent of Zhang, you feel your shoulders feel a bit tight, the arm's not going through the cue ball. And There's no lack. Oh, sorry, there is a lack of rhythm.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point, and I think that's why Trump, to win that final, as you say, he had to take control of it. He had to turn it round and play it on his terrain. Because if it's on Zhang's, it's very tough. There's no great spark about O'Sullivan, is there? And that's the last thing you normally say about him.
You see, even there, just a neat and tidy safety shot. It's quite a basic shot for a pro snooker player. This figure of 8 with hand on the bed. But generally executes it the way you want to. Basic shot, tight to the baulk cushion. And it's more time where Ronnie's having to defend. But that's your job, like I say, make it difficult for your opponent all the time. Constantly. Unrelenting, not so much pressure, just volume of just good shot after good shot, and eventually it will wear down any opponent. Volume of quality will have an effect eventually on anyone. Now this time that's a mistake. That is quite a bad mistake. Time running out in this session. Ronnie's got to get something out of it, you feel. Not got to. But he could be doing with something positive to take in this evening. It starts right here. Key shot.
One.
Yeah, blue being off the spot marginally helps the cause.
Six. Seven.
Well, it's the old multi-session sort of book of cliches in a way, isn't it? But if he gets out of this 4-4, he'll feel like he's in front because he's been really
14.
up against it. He hasn't played his best yet. Zhang has played well. But
15.
O'Sullivan has seen every conceivable position in a match over the years. He knows there's plenty of time yet. Needs to start playing better. So this may be the moment.
$22. $23.
That was a lovely piece of cueing.
30.
Yes, he had an alternative to the other middle pocket, but just the fact that he struck it nicely. It didn't look like a lot, but it gives you a nice feeling.
31.
Yeah, all of a sudden the cue ball's behaving better than at any stage it has done in this semi-final so far.
39.
And his application also has been exemplary because he's got nothing to go on in this match. So if he could somehow get out 4-4, I think attitude would be the main reason it would happen. Yes, a long way to go before that happens, but signs
41.
are better. Best contribution of the match so far by a distance
42.
in terms of quality.
Yeah, this will be his highest break so far with this black. Not yet a half century. Will be with this red, but just tells you how he's been struggling up to now.
50.
Yeah. Looking for one more red, so not messing with the bunch. That's a smart shot. Just hung the pace off it because the red goes to far corner, but nicely on it
55.
to middle. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest something. I think he's found something. He would have been, well. And how can you legislate for that? And he missed it by quite a way. That's an astonishing miss. It really is. I was just about to say, that he'd found something.
One.
This is a massive shot. If he plays on the single red and he gets the right angle on it, it's massive because a low black is a nice cannon into those cluster of three. This is absolutely perfect. This is such a good chance. Nothing to do with the cue ball here. It's going to be all about the cannon. If it goes right, every chance of the counter clearance. He's perfect.
7.
Well, what a moment this is in this match. It looked, well, a certainty that O'Sullivan had won the frame, won it with a good
40.
break. Missed that red out of nowhere to the middle. And now Zhang has his chance to land a huge body blow.
$15.
So, 41, the difference 43 on.
21.
By far the biggest moment of the match so far, this.
Yeah, this is one of these visits to the table that's got nothing to do with how good you are as a snooker player. This is only about how gutsy you are when it absolutely matters. And this is a massive frame. That's not ideal. That's gone a wee bit wrong. Didn't want to plate in for the yellow to right corner, but if he has to, it's not certain. Can still force it the conventional way. But that's not perfect either. You need the rest.
.36.
Did play this shot earlier in the match, so he's had a kind of practice run at it. But it's not that easy. Got to get the cue ball out into open play. It could go wrong. In the circumstances, that's not bad.
Well, of course, every frame counts the same towards the total, but some psychologically are just more significant, and this is certainly the case with this frame. O'Sullivan was a ball from winning it, missed a red to middle. Zhang needs the last three. The cue ball's running on. It's running on.
45.
So maybe a little further from the pink than intended here. He's cool,
50.
we know that, we've seen it, but this is a massive moment and he's still got to put this frame away. Pink and black. There you go. Well, how significant could that be looking back later today? Because had he won that frame, he'd be guaranteed a lead coming back tonight. It may well have been 6-2. O'Sullivan has dodged a massive bullet as long as he knocks this pink in. Didn't come right on the blue, left himself the slightly more difficult pink. O'Sullivan relieved. That's a massive chance missed for Zhang, whose lead is reduced to 4-3. A dramatic start to this second semi-final here in Tianjin.
Okay.
Last frame of a very dramatic session, and the way that previous frame concluded has given Ronnie O'Sullivan supporters a lot of hope, I think, because he was looking like going 5-2 down. If you can scramble out of this 4-4, that's a major result. Zhang has been the better player, but he missed his chance there to make a killer clearance. He'd done a lot of the hard work. Brown to blue, just left himself straightish on the blue. And it's one of those pinks where, OK, you kind of fancied him to get it, but he would have got it had he been much closer to it. And then, of course, it went over the middle. O'Sullivan knocked it in.
Yes, it was all about guts and showing bottle and all those things. Now then, is that red on to right corner?
6.
Yeah, it is. Just quickly clear up the old teaser. Too good, you guys out there. A lot of you correctly getting Gary O'Connor, Gary Wilson, Joe O'Connor in Edinburgh
1.
just under a year ago. Of course, didn't count the shootout. But anyway, there's going to be some shootout tonight here if Ronnie O'Sullivan can get to the interval. All square at 4-4.
8.
Yeah, you wouldn't put it past him now, would you, to win this frame with a one visit, just to really rub it in and remind Zhang of the chance he's missed. Because as I say, did he cleared up, you'd have fancied 6-2.
$16. 17. 24. 25。请将手机调至静音。
The most fruitless battle in sport is trying to get people to turn their phones off at snooker tournaments, it seems. The referee's doing his best. O'Sullivan isn't noticing any of it. He's got his eye on the prize here.
30. 31. 38. 39.
Now this is difficult to get the cue ball releasing. Stick. Oh, it looks no good.
46.
Never easy to get the cue ball into the open. I think that wall of reds. Does have a double, but he would only play it if he could get the cue ball saved. Now, is he on this? Looks like it. That's a bonus. Yeah, well played.
And the little things that weren't going from earlier are now
47.
going from. And again, you know, it's just the way that it's shifted, the fact that Zhang didn't kill that last frame off. It's given O'Sullivan real hope. Just get out the session 4 each. Rebuild tonight.
$52. 53.
beautifully shaped little cluster to go into here. Long odds on not to get on one. Yeah, he's okay. All right, it's a bit of a cutback.
58.
But he's almost got parity out of a session that for long stages of it didn't look like it was ever going to be the case. Yeah, the old touches back. The accuracy improving all the time.
59.
Looking for one more red for 4-4.
Well, Zhang had his chance. It's a bit like one of the great sort of heavyweight boxers. If they stumble, knock them down quick, because if you don't, they can start piling in the punches. And O'Sullivan has done that here. By far his best frame of the match.
61.
And if he pops this red, he's going to be 4-4, and that's a big result for him, having struggled for most of it. He's shown great attitude. He's shown great fight, and he's found something just when he needed it in this last frame to set up another potentially thrilling evening of snooker. It was 4-4, of course, between Tom Ford and Jordan Brown yesterday, and it looks like the second semi-final is also going to be all square. Zhang will surely think about the chance he had in the last frame. 5-2, could have been 6-2, could have been a tall order for Ronnie O'Sullivan tonight. But he's finishing off in style here.
$75. 76.
Yeah, the other thing I will say, because I suspect it is the case, that Ronnie has found something in the last 2 or 3 frames, something that he can get on board with in terms of ball striking. When you do find something like that, you tend to keep it
84.
for a couple of days, something like that. And of course, he's only got 2.5 hours before the start of the evening session. So I suspect he's going to come out full of
91.
vim and vigour and verve tonight.
92.
He's the favourite again, there's no question.
So can he dispatch the red? Cross double it'll be, I think, for the century. How about a treble? Well, 99 will do, because it was a struggle for long periods in this session. Zhang played very solidly, but he didn't nail that previous frame when he had the chance to make the great clearance. And the Ronnie O'Sullivan fans, and there's plenty of them here in Tianjin, are delighted to see him win the last 2 of the session to set up effectively a best-of-9 later on today. So at the halfway stage of the second semi-final of the International Championship, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhang are level at 4-4. Well, great excitement amongst the crowd, isn't there? And I'm sure there will be, of course, later on when they come back. And they'll be coming back in about 2.5 hours from now for the final session. So this is how it all stacks up. Of course, Tom Ford has a day to just enjoy himself and no doubt watch what's happening in this match. He came through 9-6 yesterday against Jordan Brown. 4-4, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Zhang. Could not be set up better, really, for the second session. O'Sullivan looking to reach his 62nd world ranking final. Of course, for Zhang it would be only his second, but he's second this season. But yeah, for all the good stuff he played, and he did play some good stuff in that session, of course, that failure to kill off the 7th frame. We'll see in the shake-up later just how significant that was. It feels massive right now, doesn't it? Now, Neil Folds and Fergal O'Brien will be along at, well, it's 11:30 UK time, 12:30 CET for the concluding frames, and could be a very exciting finish. Can Zhang pull off a second win this season over Ronnie O'Sullivan? Can O'Sullivan put himself into his first ranking final since he won his 7th world title back in 2022? As I say, Neil and Fergal will be along to talk you through it. So for myself and Alan, thanks for your company this morning. For now, it's goodbye.